They say pressure does not change character, it reveals it. Igama lami Scelo Ngubane. Today we have a special guest. Please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, I'm Tumi. I'm a qualified flight attendant and I'm a tutor.
So you're doing both, the flight attendant is your qualification, but today you are doing tutoring. After school program.
That's my after school program.
Awesome. So tell us about your story.
My story is that I'm originally based from Pretoria. I was dating my boyfriend for about a year. The relationship was very good. We'd casually visit each other on weekends. Unfortunately, my dad never allowed me to date, actually, so I would do it behind his back. Little did I know, I did know that I could possibly fall pregnant. And then it did happen that I fell pregnant. And then immediately what happened was that my boyfriend and I's relationship went from being friendly and happy to really dark and gloomy. I had then realized that this person that I was with for a year, I didn't actually know him. I thought I knew him. He would then tell me to get an abortion and that he's willing to give me money as long as I hide my stomach. I then tried to explain to him that, listen, I'm from a Christian home. I don't believe in abortion. This for me is like one of the major sins for me personally. I then had to hide my stomach from my father, obviously, being afraid of his wrath, being afraid of disappointing him. But eventually, you can't hide it. He then found out that I was pregnant. My father obviously was very disappointed and he'd asked me, were you attending the clinic? And I said, no. He's like, do you know that you could have died? I'm like, yes. And in that time, I did not care. So you stayed with your father? I stayed with my father in Centurion, yes.
Only the two of you?
It was my father, my younger sister, and my younger brother.
Okay.
Yes. So I hid all of this in the 7 months. When I was
7 months, they didn't
and
know.
a half months pregnant, yes, my father found out.
But what was happening with you? Because hormones changed.
The hormones, you know what was confusing for me is that I knew from having taken life science in school that when you're pregnant, you don't get your period. That's what I knew at the time.
Yeah.
And then when I was shocked that for the first 3 months, I got my period. So that's what confused me. I'm like, no, man, I'm on my menstrual cycle. I can't be, no.
Sure.
But then 4 months. Obviously, my stomach, my womb is growing. The baby is kicking. I'm feeling all of this movement. And then what do? Because I'm one person that finds it hard to open up, I shrug. I hold back. I don't even tell my older sister who I'm so close to. Okay, that's when at 7.5 months, my dad was like, no, go to the doctor. And the doctor confirmed everything. Fortunately, I was HIV negative. But then that's when the switch happened. And they were like, no, so Zoe Davidson. And it was like, okay, Dad. Because I knew that I myself am in a situation that I cannot get myself out of. Came to Davidson, attended the local clinic, and then going to church on a regular basis to just protect myself, and that's what I did.
So in the midst of your introduction to pregnancy to your boyfriend, what was happening? Why was he saying maybe you must get rid of the child?
I think that seeing that we were both students at the time, he was also afraid what his parents would say.
Okay.
You know, like you impregnated someone, but you're here to study. We were there to study.
So his parents were very strict?
His parents are very strict from what I've been told by him. But I've never met them.
You never met the parents?
I know his siblings.
He never introduced you to the parents?
Never introduced me. Yes.
This relationship, where was it happening?
This was happening in Sunnyside.
Okay.
Yes. By his parents' flat.
So you only met a flat in?
Only met a flat in unless it was taking a walk to the park or something like that. It was just a casual student-to-student relationship, yeah.
Yeah. And who did you maybe know that can hold him accountable in terms of an elder to say, this is what is happening? I mean, also your father's side, maybe to say, sehamba siyobika isisu, how far did
That's
you
where my irresponsibility came in.
Yeah.
I did not know his parents. I only knew he's a twin. I knew the twin brother and I knew the younger brother. So those are the people that to date that I've been talking to. These are the people that reach out and say, hey, this is not right. Your child is one of ours. He looks like us. And we want to tell our mom, but we don't want to backstab our brother at the same time.
But I'm saying in terms of maybe the ratio that as a child yourself, it's not your responsibility, yours begetting Ngane, of course. This is where elders, I think auntie comes in to say, "Mele manje siyobika umntwana la azalwa khona." How far was that process?
Okay, what we wanted to start off by doing is getting the address yasefletini Sunnyside. That's what we wanted to do.
Do they stay there, abazali?
They don't stay there. There are tenants there. And then we'd believe that through the tenants, we'd get the parents' number. That way, explain our side of the story and hopefully meet with them.
Do you think this was planned by the maybe the father of the child to not introduce you to their parents so that whatever happens in this relationship ends with you?
Yeah, he did say something like that, that, you know what, that child is yours. That thing is your family's. It's a gift to you and your family. That's what he said.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And how much did that affect you as you go through this process?
I had a very low self-esteem. I already have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, as a result of my mom's death and also seeing the abuse that my mother went through in front of me. So I kind of confided in a man in that time and unfortunately that man disappointed me. So, yeah.
So you think your relationship, the foundation already started wrong because he knew?
He knew.
Yeah.
He knew I was vulnerable. He knew I had nowhere to run to when I needed to speak about my feelings or where I needed to vent. He knew. He had that power, if I could put it that way. Yeah, at the time he did. Yeah.
Yeah. And I still think that in terms of ukuyobika and all of that, you're saying nisalinde ukuthi nithole i-address yasefletini, but you said you were there, fletini in most of the time.
You know what confuses me, right?
Yeah.
Baba Mtana uyafona. Ufona ngama private number. He knows very well that the child is his. But then now that he has a new girlfriend, the girlfriend will call me and say, hey, how about we get a DNA test? Me knowing my story, I know his new girlfriend, his current girlfriend.
Did you put it DNA?
Yes.
As a what?
I don't know. She's just the girl that I speak to.
She introduced herself as...
Yes, she said, my name is Itu. I'm Justice's girlfriend. We're waiting on you. We need a DNA test before we actually decide on whether or not we're going to support the child.
Yeah, I think this is where the gap is. You know, in my observation that babona ngathi kulula ukugibela ekhanda because there must be a barrier where they know ukuthi they can't go through bekhuluma nawe over the phone or all of that. I think it's where now auntie comes in or ubaba comes in to say ingane yami, after all noma ayenza amaphutha wenzani, but ekugcineni you cannot allow her to go through this alone, you know, because manje sofonela intombi ze-boyfriend kuwukuthi nabazali abakangeni or bazoyibona because uzoyifanisa ngani ingane nese-girlfriend. I think this is where the part where you need to be protected as well.
I am very protective. Even when they suggested a casual meetup at the mall, and I figured, but I'll get to mamako.
Yeah.
And then I'm like meeting up with you. I don't feel safe. It's me and my son. What if you just snatch this child from me? I've literally thought far and hard about this because he's called before. He had an intern, a learnership in Heidelberg, and he's like, how about after crash, go Friday lunch, Kivelan in Heidelberg, and then just so that I can see the child. And I'm like, but why does this sound so fishy? All along you called me a slut. You named me and shamed me, and you told me to go sell my body in order to support the child because you don't want to support the child. And now you're telling me to come with the child?
It went that far?
Yes, it got pretty toxic. It was just a thing where you would text him and say, hey, the child's not well, and he would swear at you over the phone. The text messages, calling you names for being a young mom and It was pretty toxic. I have to, when I speak to him now, I have to just suck it up and be like, hello, how are you? Hey, yeah, about the DNA test. I'm like, listen, you'll let me know. Uzongitshela date and time and we'll come. Yeah, because I know my truth. Angeke ngibambe umuntu teachers, I know my truth. I just want to prove to him that what I've been saying all these 5 years is on paper. That's all. Yeah.
And all of that has prompted you to start a program where you want to educate young women about the risk of maybe dating someone that you don't know and end up having a child.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you can share.
Yeah, I would just like to encourage ladies, girls, teenagers that please get to know your partner. Try your level best to get to know your partner, get to know their family. It can be a brief introduction, but just so that you know what you're going to be dealing with. Because should you have a child, you're going to be bound to those people for life. So just be careful in that sense, yeah.
If you were to sit with Wabumtwana and want to address him and tell him your heart, that he does not know what you go through every day, what would you say?
What I would say is that it's hard. It's hard. I think, not to say ukuthi umsebenzi awukho khona umsebenzi, but I couldn't attend so many things. Even today, I'm late because ngihlezi nginomntwana 24/7. My aunt is not. She makes it look like she's there for me, but she's not there for me. I do everything on my own. With my parents, it's a financial thing. Maybe they bazathumela leyo 100 rand or leyo 200 rand. Still, I have to make means. The only freedom I get is when my son is at creche. Weekends are gates closed, like I'm with my child. I think even it hurts, but come like so yeah, it's not easy. Sometimes I think this August when I was with my sister, she was like, I wish I could help you because I can see that you're losing it now. You are not okay. And I'm like, yes, I'm not okay. But right now, I do not have a choice. Yes, I do not have a choice.
And in all of this, you started a program where you are assisting children with their homework as a form of an entrepreneurship program that you're doing. Tell us about that.
Okay, so how my tutoring came about is I'd often help my nephew with homework after school. I then, as I did it every day, I realized that I could actually make something out of this. I'm good at this. And the amazing thing was that before he started, he would fail Afrikaans, So when each and every term came by, seeing him pass, I realized my potential. I thought that, why don't I actually do this? Why don't I actually help children? There's a lot of kids in my community that actually need help. Be at home, like parents are busy, parents are at work, parents have to be places. And you often find that the child is neglected with a pile of homework. So I thought, let me step in and actually do this.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can assist.
I can assist.
And how is that going?
I can say it's really on and off. I really feel like business is seasonal.
Yeah.
In some seasons, one thing I've noticed with my parents, the parents that I work with, is that you start promoting yourself from January, and then they'll come, maybe it's now October. Some will come in November, hoping that you'll help their children pass kadi last minute. And it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. There is no medicine. We're not magicians.
Yeah.
Tutors is literally just a helper. I'm here to hold your child's hand along with you. We're a team, and then in order for your child to thrive. Yeah.
So in your upbringing, you said maybe the family setup that you grew under affected how you perceive a relationship.
It did. I had even today, I haven't fully healed.
Yeah.
I think I still have that fear of men because growing up, seeing my mom and dad physically fighting, like all of that just gave me this thing, you could say, let me go to school, be successful. I might have a child, that's fine, but marriage is not in the picture. had a very negative perspective in relationships. I think even now, I'm still trying to unlearn, and trying to understand that there are good men out there. I just need to trust. I have a big problem with trust. Yes.
In general terms, you're saying you're afraid of men, and your experience have shown you exactly why you should be
They've
afraid.
shown me flames, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you maybe go for counseling or something?
I've tried to here at public clinics. I actually have a psychologist appointment on the 1st of November.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to that, because I really just want to speak and
Yeah.
heal. That's the most important thing. I want to be the best mom to my child. I don't want to just necessarily and just snap and being short-tempered. No, I want to be a healthy mom.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, in all aspects. Yeah.
So before all the scenario that you've just shared, the story that you just shared, what is it that Tumi always had a dream to have? I know you spoke about being a flight attendant, but what were your hopes and dreams before maybe falling pregnant?
Before falling pregnant, I just wanted to be a psychologist.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And then the flight attendant, why did you choose that
I think
career?
that was I know. That was a backup.
Okay.
Because I found out that BCom is not for me. I took maths literacy instead of pure maths. So when I got to first year, it was a thing of having to be in accounting and do statistics for the first time, do economics for the first time. That was extremely difficult.
And why psychologist?
Because I have a passion for helping.
Yeah.
I'm always concerned about what's happening with the person next to me.
Wow.
So I just thought, you know what, why don't I do this? This is my way of helping. But then I found my, I would say, talent in teaching. Wow. Just by helping my nephew.
Yeah.
And that's why next year I've enrolled at UNISA to study. I'm doing a higher certificate in senior phase education, because I actually want to thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to further my studies.
And who's maybe helping you as a mentor, guiding you throughout this process?
I don't have a mentor. I could say emotional support and spiritual support. I rely on my Davidson sisters. In 2021, during COVID times, I converted to Islam.
Oh.
From being a ZCC member, I converted to Islam.
So
Islam really just broadened up my perspective, and it opened my eyes. That if I can just put Allah first, I would say to other people, if you can just put God first, then anything is possible.
So you move from being a Christian, now you are in Islam.
You're Muslim, yes.
Is it?
Yes.
And because of the love that they showed you.
Yes.
That you wanted.
I feel like I belong in that space.
Yeah.
I feel at home. Everyone is the same. When I get into masjid, everyone is the same. There's peace. Yes.
And what is it that they're doing that you make them you appreciate their program about?
I think it's, for me personally, it's just the open-heartedness. When you enter, you are greeted as if you've been there for years. When in comparison to ZCC, it would be a thing of, oh, but your skirt is too short. Why is your duke being tied that way? There's a lot of discrepancies. They will scan your looks. Islam, we don't do that. Everyone is the same. You might be a Muslim for 15 years. You might be a Muslim for a month. And we are all the same. We all sit on the floor. We're all the same. We tie our hijab and salam alaikum, wa alaikum salam. We're the same. So for me, it was just that equality, that acceptance. I finally found a place where I feel like I belong.
Yeah.
That's why I feel at peace and I feel whole because of Islam.
Maybe you very resilient, and I think you persistent. You don't give up easy. How does that drive, or where does that drive come from?
One, I'd say it's the lack of support system. I don't have anyone that I'm gonna call and say, hey, listen, ang nasinko. Oh, hey, listen, I don't have that. My family, especially my dad, said they in front of my dad, they might seem like they're supportive, but in actuality, I'm alone. It's me. And it's my older sister, obviously over the phone. She's in Pretoria, so she can't just hop up and say, hey, here's what you need. So that drive, knowing that I have a child to feed, I can't let my child go hungry. That's what drives me.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what really drives me.
And your end goal now is to see yourself as a teacher?
Yes, a qualified teacher.
Qualified teacher?
Yes.
Wow. So the plan is you're enrolling next year with UNISA, and then you start with your classes?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will continue with my tutoring in terms just to support whatever my studies as well. I will continue doing that.
And what do you think maybe you're going to introduce with the tutoring, knowing the challenges in terms of the season? Hey, is there another business that you think of introducing? Because I know in the Islam, there's more entrepreneurs. It's more business-minded people there.
Yes.
Yeah. How much that network assisting you as well?
It's encouraging me to just stand on my own and not to stress too much about employment and what's really happening in our country.
Yeah.
I still do apply on a daily basis. I have that faith and belief that I'll get called somewhere.
Yeah.
In terms of, in hope that I'll find something stable, but really, I'm okay with my hustle. I'm okay. I've recently started selling lip balms as well. I sell it to school children.
Wow.
Yeah, fruit flavored. Oh, it's going well. They love it.
Awesome.
I'm currently out of stock, and I actually have to go stock more. So that's something positive that's came up this year. Yeah.
Yeah. So as we maybe go to conclude in our interview or discussion with you, what advice can you give to young women there, maybe who are going through the same thing that you're going through?
I would just say rely on a higher entity. Believe in God. There is God. God just needs you to believe in Him. He needs you to talk to Him. He needs you to give Him time, and He will show you that He's there for you. I know it sounds crazy because we know that faith is believing without seeing anything. But when you believe, just believe, take that leap of faith, even if it's saying a short prayer in your heart before doing anything, He will show up for you. Yes.
In terms of relationships, what can the red flags they must be aware of?
Don't fully trust someone with your entire life and your child's life, and also don't allow yourself to be that vulnerable. It's okay to ask for help, but never stoop yourself up to the lowest ground. You might ask for help here and there, but the minute you start asking for personal things, pads, for example, just know that you're already putting yourself in danger. This person can take advantage of you.
Yeah.
They might start controlling you. They might start abusing you. So that's what I have to say.
Awesome.
So ladies, just be careful.
The intelligentsia you have, are you a reader? What is it that you do to make sure that you always this articulate and this confident?
I love reading. I love reading blogs. I think even on my Facebook, I follow a lot of inspirational people because I'm always hungry for knowledge. I always want to know, how can I better myself? How can I be a better mom? How can I increase my faith? How can I just grow as a person? I'm always just hungry to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You are a remarkable woman, and I believe that God is going to bless you, and your story is not yet over. This is the beginning, and you are going to inspire so many women. I believe, Emeka, that for single moms who are watching and thinking that this is the end of the road, Udumi is an example that Bamba's clean, but also to speak to the guys that the wounds that we put in the young women or in the Mama Babantwana is deeper than what meets the eye. Maybe if you're watching and you're thinking that maybe loku kuzodlula, akudluli nje, try to man up, try to step up and just take responsibility and say, I'm going to do it. Even if it's a small portion and the willingness to make things right. Remember, you are not doing this for you. You are doing it for the next generation. I hope and believe that we are going to be challenged by the attitude that Tumi was also, portrayed today, to say we have to also man up as guys and play our role to make sure that we don't, repeat the wound that women in our country, especially for us as guys, are experiencing today. Thank you very much for listening. And for those, Tumi is one of those people that responded when Chula's MTV said, if you have a story that you want to share, thank you for the confidence and sharing your story. Because this is a platform that we want to share stories that are authentic, but stories that also inspire people to say, it's not over yet. You have to soldier on. Thank you very much, Amy. God bless you.
Thank you.